Right here on the left, we have a glass of water that's approximately 250 milliliters, and this is the amount that an average 9-pound cat would have to consume daily to maintain proper hydration. In the middle, this glass here is filled with 177 milliliters of water. This is how much water your cat would consume daily with food alone if your cat is consuming wet food only. Then right here on the right is 15.8 milliliters of water, which is what your cat would consume eating Kibble only. So now honestly, does your cat drink plenty of water? Hey friends, it's Jess and Jericho. I talk about moisture a lot on this channel and how important it is for cats. So first let's talk about why moisture is important and then take another look at how much food provides. So this is a clinical anatomy and physiology book that I read as part of my nutrition program. And it states mammals consist of about 70% water, and a loss of as little as 10% of its water can cause serious illness in most animals, and a 15% loss would be fatal without immediate treatment. This is Dr. Karen Becker's website, and she says dogs and cats are made up of mostly water, which is required for maintaining crucial body processes like regulating body temperature, flushing out waste, cushioning the brain, and transporting nutrients through the bloodstream. And we could see parallels to our lives too, right? So like regulating body temperature. When we're hot, we require more water. Flushing out waste, like for example, if we have a urinary infection, we would need to drink more water. Same goes for cats. If there's a UTI or maybe there's crystals or bladder stones, your cat needs more water. Water is essential for life. Dr. Becker goes on to say, if your cat or dog lived in the wild, her natural diet prey would be around 70% water. A nutritionally balanced, fresh, species-appropriate diet will also be about 70 to 80% water, as well as high-quality canned food. On the contrary, dry food is only 5 to 10% water. If your pet is eating moisture-rich food, some of her water requirements will be met during her meals. However, if eating mostly dry food, which I don't recommend, she may need more water than average to compensate for the dry diet. Feeding cats or dogs a dry food diet actually puts incredible stress on the kidneys because of its lack of moisture. So the cat's natural diet, mice, birds, and other small mammals, are very high in moisture. Since food provides the majority of your cat's daily requirements, cats just have a naturally lower thirst drive. This is Dr. Lisa Pearson's website. She's another advocate for high moisture, fresh food diets. She says water is an extremely important nutrient that contributes to overall health in every living creature. Couple this with the fact that cats do not have a very strong thirst drive when compared to other species, and you will understand why it's critical for them to ingest a water-rich diet. The cat's lack of a strong thirst drive can lead to low-level chronic dehydration when dry food makes up the bulk of their diet, especially if they have any level of kidney insufficiency. And then Dr. Pearson also discusses the moisture contents of food that we just outlined. And she goes on, I hear the reader saying, but my cat drinks a lot of water, so dry food is just fine for him. And I know that a lot of you have said this to me before. That's exactly why I'm making this video. Dr. Pearson goes on, a cat consuming predominantly dry food diet does drink more water than a cat consuming a canned food diet, but in the end, when water from all the sources is added together, what's in their diet plus what they drink, a cat on dry food consumes approximately half the amount of water when compared with a cat eating canned food. Think of canned food as flushing out your cat's bladder several times each day. And that goes back to the chronic dehydration, the stress on the kidneys, and really stress on all bodily functions. Again, water is essential for life. So feeding a diet of dry food only essentially dehydrates your cat from the inside out. The amount of water that is needed daily by an animal in milliliters is equal to the amount of its daily energy requirement in calories. This is the National Research Council's Your Cat's Nutritional Needs, and they state that an adult cat weighing 9 pounds would consume 250 calories daily to maintain that weight. So 250 calories would mean 250 milliliters daily, and 250 milliliters is equal to almost 8.5 ounces. I took the average calorie and moisture contents of kibble, wet, and raw to calculate how much water would be provided with the food. I won't bore you with the math, but if you want to check it out, it's in the description below. Right here on the left, we have a glass of water that's approximately 250 milliliters, and this is the amount that an average 9-pound cat would have to consume daily to maintain proper hydration. In the middle, this glass here is filled with 177 milliliters of water. This is how much water your cat would consume daily with food alone if your cat is consuming wet food only. Then right here on the right is 15.8 milliliters of water, which is what your cat would consume eating kibble only. These two glasses represent the 250 milliliters that your cat needs daily, and then the 15.8 milliliters of water that your cat gets from eating kibble. There's a massive difference between what your cat consumes eating food alone and the amount of water that your cat needs daily. So if your cat's eating kibble only, to maintain proper hydration, he would have to drink over 200 milliliters of water daily, which is equal to about 8 ounces. So an entire 8-ounce cup of water daily every single day just to stay hydrated. These glasses represent the 250 milliliters that your cat needs daily, and on the right is the 177 milliliters of water for what your cat would consume if he's eating wet food. This is much more water that's consumed if you're on a wet food diet versus kibble. There's not that much of a difference, really not that big of a gap here. The remaining difference is about 73 milliliters or 2.5 ounces of water, which is nothing compared to a full 8 ounces. So again, here is the comparison of what your cat would need daily, 250 milliliters, and in the middle, what your cat would consume with a wet food diet, and on the right, what your cat would consume with a kibble diet. So now honestly, does your cat drink plenty of water? So what's the solution? Simply adding water to kibble doesn't work. Most cat parents leave kibble out all day, which is really unsanitary. Bacteria and mold will grow on food that sits out all day at room temperature. Plus you have the cat's saliva getting onto the food as your cat eats, so that extra moisture is just going to speed up the growth of bacteria and mold. So if you're adding even more water to that, all of that moisture, it's just going to create a soup of bacteria and mold. The better option is to get your cat used to eating at scheduled meal times. That way you're not leaving food out all day. Then from there, you can transition to a high moisture diet. You can upgrade your cat's kibble in the meantime with this video right over Mya. Then once you're ready to transition to wet food or raw, check out that video right over Mya. Thanks for watching.